Hello everyone, hope you're having an amazing day, and today there's a lot of interesting news, right? So let's go. So first we have Singapore Wealth Fund GIC invest in crypto exchange Coinbase. So for those of you who do not know GIC, they are actually ranked number 8 in terms of largest wealth fund, sovereign wealth fund in the world, yeah? And you can see in the chart here, number 1 is actually Norway at more than $1 trillion, yeah, but Singapore GIC is almost $400 billion. It has its estimated AUM, because they do not publish their AUM. They do not want to make it public because this is actually the government's money, right? It's government owned money, so they are just to manage their foreign reserves, so they're keeping it very secret. And also number 9 is at Temasek Holdings. It's another arm of Singapore Sovereign Wealth Fund. This knowledge is important, and let's just dive into it. So GIC is rumored, right? There's no formal news, but it is rumored in Bloomberg. It was published in Bloomberg that GIC was among the investors who invested $300 million in Coinbase last year. And remember, Coinbase was the largest recipient of funding among all the crypto firms in the industry last year. And among others, at that time, they named the few of the investors, including Tiger Global Management, Wellington Management, and Andreessen Horowitz, right, who is one of the billionaire venture capitalists, early investors in Facebook, in Airbnb, in Twitter as well, right? Now, the thing is, after this news came out in Bloomberg, GIC and Coinbase did not give any public comments, yeah? And this is very interesting. When a big company like this decline to comment, right, is an indication, in my opinion, that most likely the rumor is true, yeah? And I mean, Bloomberg must have some insider source, right, to get this information. And though it is interesting, though, that GIC CEO Lim Chow Kiat has previously indicated that GIC would steer clear of cryptocurrency-based investments, say the volatility associated with digital tokens and related business models go against its mandate to preserve and enhance the international purchasing power of reserves they manage. Now, although he had said that in the past, right, but that still doesn't preclude, if they think that the investment has a solid returns, right, that has a chance, especially with its asymmetric risk return, then they can always consider to include that in their investments. And after all, we do not know the size of the investments. And as I've said, GIC is huge. They are the 8th largest sovereign wealth fund in the world, yeah. And not only that, the 9th largest Temasek, also another sovereign wealth arm of Singapore. Last year they already invested in Binance, and that was made public, yeah. And they invested in Binance as part of its plan to grow Binance in Southeast Asia region, where Singapore in Southeast Asia is the largest economy. You see, Singapore is a very interesting country. Ever since its independence from Malaysia, right, in 1960, right? So the country is really, really small. It is called a red dot for a reason. You can't really even see it on the map, yeah? It's between Malaysia and Indonesia, and it's really just a dot. It has only about 5 million people, but the economy is really thriving, right? And it is one of those very popular destination for both investments and expats. Very well managed and well known for its safety and security. So they are also, because of all this, right, the country has amassed a lot of wealth for a long time. And as you can see, both of those wealth funds of the government is about $1 trillion, right? If you sum up those, that's almost, if you look at it, if you sum up those, then easily they are number 3, right? Just after Norway and China's wealth fund, yeah? If you sum up those two. And very interestingly, these two wealth funds also, one more backtrack a bit. Singapore is also a financial hub of Asia, right? So, as you know, Asia is the up and coming powerhouse of the coming century. So, it is really, really key to note that these two wealth funds, which are so huge, yeah, is almost number 3 by, if you combine them, in the world that they chose to invest in crypto infrastructure firms, right? And Binance and Coinbase are huge firms that definitely will benefit in winter, in rally, right? Because especially rally, like last year alone, both each Coinbase and Binance are estimated to earn over 1 billion in so Coinbase is estimated to earn 1 billion in revenue, more than 1 billion in revenue, whereas Binance is estimated to earn $500 million in profit. And these numbers are all very, very significant considering it's a startup, right? And it is still a very new industry. It is really just 10 years old, and only last few years it has really gone more mainstream. And one more key thing is last year was a bear market, right? But regardless, by exchange will make money regardless of people selling or buying, and that is why that wealth funds like this, that they see the opportunity, that they invest in this opportunity. So one is that, yes, they are not yet invested directly into crypto, so probably that's what the CEO mean when he said the volatility, but they are investing in the equity of the crypto firms. I see this as indication, right, that they are definitely warming up to the ideas of crypto now, because they do recognize this is in fact the best asset class there is today, right, that can give them outsized returns in the next decade or 20 years down the road, and no other asset class can really perform as well as crypto. And of course, equity in crypto firms will definitely be even better. But I think, as I said, as in yesterday's video, I said almost the same thing, that I believe they need this stage first to warm up to the idea of crypto, that they really see the attractiveness of crypto use cases before they ever dip toes into buying directly into the crypto itself, like you and me. But I think it is just a matter of time that this happens. So let's move on. Facebook plans cryptocurrency launch in first half of 2019. Now, Facebook has always been rumored to do something related to their Facebook coin. So another very recent, just yesterday, New York Times have actually reported, again quoting insider sources, that this time there are more information that they are combining WhatsApp, Messenger and Instagram under one canopy, under one umbrella, right? That means then they are working on a Facebook coin. The name is not clear, it's just something that is coined by us, that to say that this coin will enable their user, which is 2.7 billion total people, that's huge, right? To be able to send funds to each other instantly and almost zero or very low fees, And it is meant to be a stable coin and pegged to three national currencies, though it is not clear yet which are those currencies, right? But regardless, it is very, very huge news when they announce this, right? Of course, there are pros and cons. One is that you do see Facebook then pushing crypto to a huge number of people, definitely increasing the visibility and endorsement, right? And also in terms of importance, suddenly people regard crypto as not only associating with criminals, but it's something that, if people are used to using Facebook coin, then they are definitely more receptive to the idea of Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and so forth, right? So I think this will definitely have the effect of indirectly, eventual effect to say people will be more welcoming, more receptive to the public kind of crypto, because I believe Facebook coin will be a private coin, though it is still not clear what are the details, right? But that is the thought. That's probably what is likely to happen, in my opinion. Of course, the downside is that this being most likely is going to be a private permissioned coin, just like the JPM coin. So anyone using it, I believe there will be adoption, definitely. But the key is, I think, then people might think that then they just need to use Facebook coin, but not the public coins. Though if they think like that, then there is a big flaw in that thinking, because Bitcoin, for example, Bitcoin being the most established and oldest coin, right? Their usage is not just sending money, global transfers instantly and no fees, but it's also a much better form of money that cannot be censored, right? And is deflationary. That means it's not like you can keep inflating the supply of money and then the money loses value. So the thing is, if Facebook coin is pegged to fiat money, which ultimately is subject to the increasing supply and hence decreasing in value, so Facebook coin will have that same pressure as well, right? But Bitcoin will not, because forever you only know there will only be 21 million units by 2140 and forward. So the only way, no one can inflate it further. So definitely supply is fixed, right? So if demand increases, it will just increase the value, but it won't gives that, it won't decreases the value of the coin. So good and bad, but definitely a lot it's interesting. Something definitely we should look forward to see what is happening. And they said they're going to have it later this year, so not too far away, right? Time really flies. We're already in March now. So next, JP Morgan is quietly testing cutting-edge Ethereum privacy tech. So it is now, again, according to Insider, JP Morgan is testing out another zero-knowledge privacy solution called Aztec. So Aztec, what it does is able to encrypt further the blockchain data in a more efficient way and lower cost way. So JP Morgan already worked with previously Quorum, and that is permissioned a private solution. But now the fact that they are looking into partnering with Aztec and using Aztec technology is very significant, because Aztec is the bridge between private and public chain. So does that mean, right? So what they're working on is making the data, they can hide the data and people can still verify the truth or validity of the data. So because of that, then all this information can be put on public chain. So it is very interesting why JP Morgan is working with Aztec. If it is, does that mean that they also recognize that one day, right, it will be the public chains that will win out eventually? So they want to have a bet as well that if it does, then at least they can already move quickly from their private blockchain to the public blockchain. That's really what my opinion is. So they're very smart. They are putting their toes or their legs in both sides, right? One leg in the water, one leg in their boat. So very, very interesting. And so if it is true, if my guess or my opinion is true, then that means that they are definitely going towards, right, from fighting stage to joining the support for public chain, public blockchain, public coins stage. And that is very, very important. So you have one biggest bank in the world indirectly now with this initiative supporting the eventual adoption of public coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and so forth. Moving on, Signature Bank to offer accounts to Bermuda's crypto startups. So Signature Bank of New York is a very small firm. Their asset under management is like, I think, 2% of JP Morgan. So that just give you a size. But they are definitely very nimble, that they want now to carve out a niche for themselves to offer full banking services to financial technology firms in Bermuda, including crypto startups that have struggled to secure accounts. And this is very, very key. So what they're going to offer is really, right, US licensed deposit accounts and crypto debit cards for corporates. And again, so that's the thing, right? When you have an up and coming industry that's exciting, that you already see a lot of developments happening in that industry, which is crypto, eventually, right, someone will come along to offer the banking services, right? If big banks do not want to offer, doesn't matter. There will be small banks like this new bank, right? New bank on the block, and then because they want to grow, so then they will be more risk taking and they want to join in the party. Next, Square brought in over $166 million worth through Bitcoin sales last year. So mobile payments from Square, which is owned by Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey, has reportedly earned over $166 million in revenue from Bitcoin sales last year. It is a respectable amount, but more importantly, it is about 5% from their total revenue of $3.3 billion. And this comes from last year, despite a winter market, right? Just by people buying and selling cryptocurrency on their Cash App. And this is something which they just introduced in 2018 itself. So that is already very interesting. Just, it's a new offering, definitely. And already it can, comprised or contributed 5% of their total 3 billion revenue, and that is huge. I mean, this is not some small company you're talking about. This is huge mega company, right? They're in billions of revenue, and that is 5%. Though, of course, profit is still small. Because I think that they are still new in the market, that they haven't done the hedging, right? So that I don't think they have really figured out how do you actually maximize profit first, because the cost of purchase of Bitcoin versus the sale price of Bitcoin is they only earn about 2 million from that 166 million. So the margin is small, but definitely it is a volume game. And the other thing very important is that Jack Dorsey, the CEO, already said that they will one day, didn't give a timeline, but they will definitely incorporate Lightning Network onto this Cash App or onto Twitter. So when that happens, then given the ease of payments using Bitcoin, then with Lightning Network, very fast and almost no fees, right? Then you will definitely see these volumes or Bitcoin buying volume over Cash App of Square even skyrocket even much further. And of course, if rally comes, then it's going to get really, really crazy. Yeah. Next, adoption. Bittrex leads $1.5 million round for South African crypto exchange VALR. So global crypto exchange Bittrex has invested $1.5 million in South African trading platform VALR. What is so interesting about VALR is that they are the one, like Binance, their incoming strategy is to say, I will offer the most wide range or most comprehensive number of coins, and that's what they plan to do. They're opening on March 1st, which is today, and they already have 50 cryptocurrencies, and I think this will expand as they go along. So what's the partnership is that Bittrex will give them the liquidity and competitive prices for crypto to crypto trading, while the team will work on fiat on-ramp. That means this VALR will accept fiat money for buying crypto. So again, it is very easy for South African to get into crypto. So this definitely will help the adoption. Similarly, like the Cash App by Square just now, the reason why they are so popular is that it is super easy to buy Bitcoin over their platform. And that is why things that are very, very user-friendly will definitely win out in the end. And that has been already proven here. Now, why is Bitcoin so popular in Africa? If you can, please take a look at the chart, right? But of course, if you're driving, then don't. But I will tell you what happened. So I actually draw a chart where it shows the money supply in South Africa. So similar to the story in US, after 2008 crisis, just like US, they increase their money supply substantially. Similarly, it happens in South Africa as well. You can see this, the steepness of the curve just in the last 10 years versus like the last 40 years, right? The last 40 has been relatively flat, right? And the last 10 years itself, this curve has increasingly become much more steep. And it just took last 10 years from the money supply to increase 2.5x from a South African dollar, $0.7 trillion to $1.8 trillion. And last 40 years, it took 40 years to reach 0.2 trillion. So that just gives you the magnitude, right, of the increase of the last 10 years. And because of that, because of the rapid increase in money supply in South Africa, their South African rand, right, their currency, has actually halved in value over the last 10 years. And people in South Africa, they really do feel that inflationary pressures, because when something is too much in supply, prices will really just fall. And because prices fall, goods become much more expensive, because now you have to pay more of the same dollar which has dropped in value to buy the same goods. Yeah, not that the goods has increased in value, increased in prices, but because your dollar, your rand has lower in value. That's why you need to pay more of it to actually buy the same goods. And So that is why I'm not surprised that people in Africa are really very receptive to getting Bitcoin. And for now, they can only use peer-to-peer platforms like local Bitcoins. And because of that, the premium is already almost 10% high versus prices in US market. Yeah. Next, Kraken exchange offers 100k reward for missing Quadrigacx crypto. So it is very good, and shout out to Kraken for offering up to 100,000 to anyone who can help solve this year's biggest blockchain mystery. What happened to Quadrigacx coin? I think more importantly, they really want to award people who can help recover the coin, yeah, and that is key. So the thing is, the total loss is $190 million. It's huge. So the thing is, I think two things. One, I think if they are able to resolve, I'm sure there are a lot of people, smart people out there, eventually will solve this problem, and this 100k is definitely a good incentive to, incentivize the talented people to come out and do this, to focus their time and do this, right? So one, if it is really, if the lost coins of $190 million can be recovered, that will definitely give a lot of people confidence, right, in centralized exchanges like Quadrigacx, like Kraken, yeah? So Kraken will definitely benefit from, in fact, not only Kraken, every other centralized exchanges, Coinbase, Binance, and so forth will also benefit if someone is able to recover the lost coins from Quadrigacx. Now, the other great benefit is, of course, Kraken is seen as, really like the Robin Hood, right? It's really like the white knight to actually save Quadrigacx investors, and that is really goodwill, right? It's things like this that at times like this, unexpected times like this, someone step up and offer to help is well appreciated by people, and in fact the community as a whole. So definitely very smart move on Kraken, yeah. Next, Fund-Coinbase new phone can switch between blockchain and Android. So again, you already see a big trend now towards combining mobile phone technology, which is a device you have on your hand every day, right? Literally part of you, and cryptocurrency. Really, this integration is definitely going to happen, right? It's already happening, and you just see more and more phone companies or crypto companies coming into this race. Now, Fund-Coinbase is the latest one, and they plan to already offer this in late 2019, and they revealed some details, including the users can switch between traditional mode that supports Android apps and a blockchain mode. That means they can access their decentralized apps by just push of a button. So very user friendly, definitely. And the price will be retailing at $599 USD. It's definitely cheaper than Samsung Galaxy S10, HTC Exodus, and Serene Labs Fini. But of course, it is the other cool thing is though, there will only be 5,000 units of this X phone offering by Fund-Coinbase will be built. So that gives it that exclusivity factor, which is very smart again, I think, on the part of the company. The other thing though, they are still higher priced than Electronium, which is the $80 phone, right, that can allow people to even use the phone to mine cryptocurrency. But definitely just another option for customers and just help to push crypto to mainstream. So very great, laudable move. Next, early Alpha Point employee goes full Bitcoin, joins Casa. So Michael Haley quietly left his job as product manager at digital securities platform Alpha Point in November to join the crypto custody provider Casa. A longtime Bitcoiner who began attending community meetups and participating in online discussions in 2014, he said now is the perfect time to get back into good old Bitcoin. In the bear market, it's an exciting time to get back into Bitcoin. It's never been as exciting, especially with Lightning. It's a totally different culture, a very developer-centered culture, and a very special time. Now, if you are listening to this, probably you are one of those people who stuck through the winter. So definitely, congratulations to you, right? And at least you, and probably many others as well, and myself included, will have realized, like Michael Haley, that there is definitely a bigger cause to all this excitement about crypto. It's not just about making money. Yes, everyone is keen to make money. Everyone wants to, see that 1,000 or 10,000% returns over the next decade or so, right? Next few years. But definitely you are also making sure that the world has a strong alternative of money that they can use, that are censorship resistant, that can combat inflation, right? And also help the people who are unbanked getting up the income curve. So definitely we are much part of a bigger cause, right? And I'm sure all of you listening are definitely realize and appreciate that. And Michael Haley is just one of those people who remind us of this bigger cause that we are all supporting. So definitely, big clap to you and to me, right? Great. Next, China's 10th crypto rankings, EOS still in first, Tron joins and beats Ethereum to second. So China has, they publish this blockchain ranking monthly, and this is their 10th publication. And in the latest, this one, they added Tron, and very interestingly, they are now at number 2. Overtaking Ethereum, who are bumped down to number 3, though EOS remain at number 1. And more importantly, Bitcoin has improved its ranking from 18th to now 15th place. So very, very interesting. What do they look at? They look at the basic technology. So what are the features? Applicability, that means use cases, and creativity. So of course, I think Tron being put so high up is because I believe it's its applicability. As we have seen that, they have a lot of developers have actually moved on from Ethereum, from EOS to Tron. Yeah. And the other thing is, Tron is a very well-backed project by many, many rich people in China. So I'm not surprised that, they're also ranked very high up there after EOS. EOS is again, Neo as well, but Neo is number 10. So yes, definitely very, very good news for, Justin Sun. Congrats to him. And the other thing is, of course, Tron announced some upgrade in yesterday as well. So I need to get more details because I didn't see anywhere in the major news media. So I'll definitely dig more and report it tomorrow to see what are the details exactly of the upgrade. Next, XRP is now live and trading on Coinbase consumer app. So on last Monday, XRP was listed on Coinbase Pro, which is the more institutions version. So now, just after a few days, right, they now are supported on Coinbase.com, which is the normal. So on every platform of Coinbase now, they are supporting XRP. So yes, if you're a Coinbase user now, yes, you are free to trade there. Very, very easy. Yeah. So that's, I think, again, very smart move for Coinbase, right? And I think they are just timing it probably with every other initiative that they are doing, because this week is all about Coinbase every day in news. Next, Ethereum upgrades activated without a hitch. So yesterday we reported that Constantinople and St. Petersburg upgrade, right, which is called a fork by some, but basically it's just an upgrade. It was scheduled to happen on February 28th, and great thing is that it happened as per schedule without any issues, because as we know, in January it was delayed because there were bugs found. So very, very great job on the Ethereum developers, and now they can definitely focus on next step for Ethereum. And more importantly, I think this team, the people behind Ethereum, are not they are not so much about marketing, but definitely they are more about just doing the work. Yeah. So sometimes it can be a bit alarming, because they do not give so much information versus other projects. But definitely now that these two upgrades have gone on without a hitch, definitely gave again the Ethereum investors a lot more confidence again. So that's really, really good. And now we just need to look forward to when are they actually going to really scale up their solution. But of course, that is not an easy task. It will take time. So yes, rather take time to get it right rather than rush through it and get it wrong, right? Then the downside is even worse, because there's a reputation risk. So yeah, and hope you had enjoyed today's episode. If you learned something, please leave a like, please subscribe, and leave a comment. Any questions you can also ask, right? And yes, and that's all I have for today. Hope you live with high energy, high passion, and yes, and thank you so much for watching and for all your support. I truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you.